Welcome to my channel. My name is Valerio, but please call me Val, and today we're gonna review the Fire Dagwon by Sentinel, belonging to the line Metamorphose. I bought this robot from Amazon Japan for what was something around 230 USD plus shipping and everything. Ended up being like, I think 260 altogether, maybe a tiny bit less. Anyway, what you're seeing right now, it is the box. It's not particularly big, and honestly, to be true, I don't like that much the image on the top of it. It is a tiny bit less cool than the normal one that they use, but this is not their main line Riobot. This is the line Metamorphose, which has been focused on transforming gimmicks for the robot. Belonging to this line, we have seen before the Gravions, the Granzort, the Jig, and unfortunately, most of the product within this line have not been on the same level of the product that Sentinel have been publishing within their main line, which is Riobot. However, I really like the Braves. I like the design of this robot. I like the presentation, so I decide to go through and pick up this one. That is the first one of two robots that they're gonna then combine together into Super Fire Dagwon. If I'm not wrong, that is the name. Anyway, as usual, if you like this channel, please subscribe, leave me a comment if you have any kind of question. Now, as usual, we're gonna start by looking at accessories, and honestly, there isn't too much stuff inside of the box, and now you'll be able to see everything. Really not that much, but what there is really well done. So we have the manual, pretty precise, in color, way better than the last one that we saw for the Megazord. It goes through the transformation pretty clearly. Now we have the sword, Lian. So technically in the anime, this one is able to transform into a robot. However, in this case, they decided to keep it in one way. There is also a version of this robot that gets sold only by D4 Toys, where there is a bigger blade for the robot. However, the detail on this sword are amazing. Different shades on color were not. There is a tiny car that should be the transformation of the Fire Strato car. However, there is also a transformable version. This is the one that you plug in case you want to show both of them. This is a blade that you go and swap for the ladder of the fire truck. Pretty nice, clear, silver looking, obviously all in plastic. Now we have two special hands which have a fixed position on the top of it. This is to keep the iconic position of Dagwon with the blade a tiny bit inclined toward down, and I really appreciate it because it's not an easy pose to keep. Now we have foldable hands. As normal with all the latest release Sentinel, these are incredible good hands, very expressive, not at the level of the Gurren Lagann, but still pretty good, and the metallic paint over them shine greatly. They are not loose or anything. This is just a great pair of hands. Now we have the usual Sentinel display stand. This will be the same one that you saw in products such as the Getter Dragon or any other Sentinel in the past 10 years. There are three versions of this display. This is the middle version, there is the big one and the small one. Now let's see what there is inside the box. And you can see, okay, everything is transformed, and there is the airplane, which at the end ends up being the body and most of the robot per se. It looks smaller from this angle. Don't ask me why. My hand, my span is exactly 25 centimeters, which is 10 inches. This is a bit shy of that, so it's not particularly small. Then we have the super cute tiny trucks. And the tiny transformable Dagfire, the transformation immediately, so don't worry about it. But anyway, it gives in your hand immediately a nice sensation of quality. This is not a cheap or plastic product like the Good Smile Company Gatai. This is way more premium price-wise, but also sensation in your hand. It doesn't give the feeling of a completely plastic toy. I don't have anything against plastic toy. However, this doesn't feel like one of them. However, if you're used to Transformer, this is not the best transformation, because if you look below what is the airplane, you can kind of see the robot very easily. However, this is not a transformer. This is a Bray. They work in a tiny bit of a different way. I will show you also the back once we go into the transformation. Now, very quickly, we can look at the tiny vehicles, which I found lovely. They give such a feeling of a tiny toy, but for bigger kids, such as anybody buying this one. And you can transform easily without instruction the tiny Dagwon. By the way, I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm sure it's Dagwon, but I'm not 100% sure of it. You can see it is super precisely painted, really tiny. This is 1 inch, tiny bit shy of it. I don't think it has any articulation. I tried to move the arms, but anyway, it's so cute. And then technically you can plug it inside Super Fire Dagwon, which is a lovely touch. Here we see the fire rescue track. You can extend the ladder, very cute, nice detail, and inside of it obviously there is hidden what is the hand. Is the hand for the perfect transformation, or just a pair of closed fists. They are nothing to scream at, but we're gonna see them later. Quite fun. Unfortunately, the wheel don't spin. If I have to say anything, my problem with it is that they are fake wheels. Now we have the tiny how was the name? Holy cow, sorry, I'm blanking out. Fire ambulance, I think is the name. And now let's start with the transformation. Now guys, this is the first time I transform it, so please follow me. You will see me fidgeting. And one thing that you have to do before starting, get yourself a splodger. So you can hide the two vehicles inside the airplane. And there is no problem about it. It's just about opening and off the feet. However, don't do the mistake of putting them there and then looking for them, because I spent 10 minutes because I wasn't able after to remember where the hell did I put it. So if you put them inside, just remember you have them inside the giant airplane. You see, you can close them, they're perfectly hidden, and there are also a couple of clamps inside that will keep them way more safer. I don't show it in this review, but you can also expose it into airplane mode over the display base, and it is cute. Anyway, everything is painted. There is no naked plastic. The details are really precise. I will go through it, through the colors, through the transformation. So first thing, you move both the wings up vertical, and you can see it takes me time because it's also the first time I'm looking at the manual at the same time. Comparatively wise, this is a really easy transformation if you're used to Masterpiece Transformer. This is so much easier. There is no comparison. This is all day sort of Chogokin ones, so fairly intuitive. After you've done one, you can do it again. There are a tiny bit of flaps that you have to move in and out. Don't worry about it. They are mainly to keep into position the wings. And you say that I don't put them properly, so the wings will fly. But once you put them properly, there is no problem. Now they say to align the wings when you put them up. Now you have to, there is a tiny bit of a tiny panel. Still, a splodger is perfect. Wooden one, guys. You don't want to use metal here. You see, I use the alligator clip so that it won't ruin the paint. And you can see the metal, the die cast inside of it. Once we open, you see the joints of the legs. It has a nice feeling of weight. You see, now we put the wings where they're gonna be later. We straighten up the legs. Super easy. The joints are metal, no risk to damage anything. Very precise. They end up in a click. You cannot hear the clip because I do a voiceover after I transform the robot, so I wouldn't be able to comment and do it at the same time. I'm not the skill. Anyway, now there is the hardest bit out of it, which I found no, okay, this bit is pretty easy. So you have to open the connection between the tail, and you do it by not using too much force. Then you put down what is the tail of the airplane. I'm sorry if the camera doesn't show, but you see, I open it the bit. Yeah. Now I open the fuselage, I think, in two. You put it down, you compress it, and then it goes flush toward the back. The two parts that you open, they don't go completely flush, but that's okay. It's the back. I don't see many people exposing that way, and backpack wise, this is not bad at all. This is just about align everything, not hard. As I say, first time I do it on the video and can't complain. I wouldn't have been put in the video if I did break anything or if I was too hard. Now, to divide into the head of the airplane, pay attention. This is the hardest bit that I found into it because you need a splodger, otherwise you risk to break it. Not because it's particularly fragile, not at all. However, it's pretty hard. It's really tight. So now splodger again to raise the beak of the oak on the chest. And now we have also to put inside the tiny wheel behind the airplane. So we open a part of the chest, guys, and this bit is a bit boring. It is really easy and intuitive. This is one of the few robots where really you don't have to follow that much the manual. You can kind of guess most of the thing, other than the wings. The wings are a bit harder. Anyway, you fold inside the wheels, and now you raise the head of Super Dagwon. You see, tiny, there is no risk, but they tell you on the manual, pay attention, obviously, because it's the head. And if the ears pop up, don't worry. I think they're made to be popped up as well, so don't do it, but if they pop up, don't worry about it. Now, you see, we turn the shoulders, and then we open that kind of, how you call closure, that thingy, the red and golden thing. We open it so that we can extract the arm, in particular the tricep up to the elbow. Same thing with the other hand. Not hard, still splodger here works miracle on nails. You see, I did it out of camera, but easy. Down. Now you fold the arms, you pull it down, and you're 99% done with it. You see, you close the panel down. You close this panel down. I don't know why there is the hole inside of it. Might be just an aesthetic choice, obviously, or maybe goes something in the transformation out of it. But everything is paint and it's nice. This, for what Brave goes, this is the Brave with the less amount of holes. Now we have to put inside the back. You see, I didn't close the wings particularly well, but we have to put behind the tiny wheel on the elbow. Really easy. You flex, sorry, not the elbow, you flex the knee, and then you flex the wheel. Now we have the final part. We attach the fire truck, the super fire truck. I think this is his name. Are they all called super? And then you try to extract the punch. Okay, this is a trick I give to you. You have to push on the window in front versus try to extract the punch. It makes it so much easier. Actually, it's pretty easy. But I find out only with experience. You just have to plug inside of it the arms, and now I will do it off camera. You see, now I press inside, and I was able to do it live. So you have to press the window on both the ambulance and the fire truck, then you close the panel, and we are finished. Now the shoulder pads are on an independent rotating bit, so don't worry about it. We're gonna put them as they're supposed to look later. But obviously, still the hole inside the shoulder part is to give them more movement. Now, final bit, we have to insert in our tiny Dagwon inside. And we have to, now the head will pop, because this is one of the hardest bits inside of it. Not hard as hard to do, just really tight. As everything, the first part that you transform it, you see, there is a tiny hole here. And I would suggest to hide inside of it the tiny accessories, which is the non-transformable car. Then you lock it, and we have it ready. Okay, now that we have everything, let's look at size and everything of our robot. Then we go and look at articulation. Pretty easy transformation, if you ask me. Now we find ourselves with our Brave, all combined, and I was pretty impressed with the results out of it. Everything is flush. It was an easy transformation, take 10 minutes for the first time, and it's gonna take less time the more you do it. It gives a really nice feeling. It's really solid in your hand. And to the head, I think it's 8 inches, and to the top of the wings should be 9 to 10 inches. So not giant, but definitely not on the smaller size of the Sentinel scale, which is smaller than the other diecast producer. But this is a combiner, so we should compare it with Solve Chogoking and not with stuff like CCS, or even the Carbotics 5 Pro doesn't really do combiner other than the Voltron, which had another scale, another project. If you see, the back is kind of okay, not a terrible backpack. Obviously they could have done the close it, and it might close, but I don't know if I was able to, and I don't want to scratch the paint. Anyway, great feeling, high level plastic, great solidity, dimension that are totally fine. It will not look like a dwarf within your collection, and definitely better than, I think, not the last Sentinel that I saw, but some of the last Sentinel that I saw. Now let's start to look with articulation. Obviously, every time that I put a transformable combining, because this is going to be a combine as well, robot in my hand, I know that articulation is not going to be a great. Let's see if Sentinel, which is an expert into articulation, will actually surprise me. The head was on not a ball peg, but like a tiny pole. Now the arms goes over the shoulder level. The shoulder part is independent, as it was for the Getter Dragon. There is a bicep swivel, and there is a double joint for the elbow. Why you don't see it now? Because I didn't touch correctly the arm string. Sorry, can't remember the name. Anyway, so you see it can close completely, which is great. The hands, obviously here we have the hands that are not articulate, but you can substitute with the articulate one that are within the accessories. The beak of the oak gets down inside. I wish it could, like, you know, click into position. There is an ab crunch. There is a bit of a teapot. There is a butterfly joint. Not a bad one. Actually, you can do a nobari pose, you know, the double hand, the two hands holding swords without any problem. One of the easiest one I ever did. Now we go on to the legs. So it's all friction based, but the joints are super hard, and they're hard because this is gonna combine in another diecast robot. There is a double joint here, and you can touch the diecast joint. They're really hard. I would prefer if there were a ratchet one, because still combiner, there's gonna be a lot of weight over it. I would like to avoid the old problem of joint collapsing because the weight of the other one is too much, but we didn't see it yet, so we don't know if it's gonna be a problem. And what can I say? The feet actually is pretty articulate. Articulation wise, this is way over average for a combining robot. Pretty great. Obviously you don't see some of the most esoteric stuff like the wrist panel, or it doesn't go super fancy with the double joint over the knee, but overall it is pretty great for being a combining robot, and one from a line from which I had really low expectation. So on this they get a great pass. Now we go to look into some comparison, and I will compare it only to a couple of stuff, because unfortunately I just broke my feet, so I cannot hop around the house to pick up different models. So this is a SMP that I have in front of me. It is way smaller, and now I was able to hop to pick up at least the Getter Dragon by Sentinel. You see the Getter Dragon looks way bigger, but I think the weight of the Fire Dagwon is higher, or at least it's distributed in a better, different way. Plus one is a combiner, the wings and everything. And now for conclusion. So when I start with my conclusion, as usual, we saw pro and con. So let's start with the con so we get over it. So the con, the sword doesn't transform. For some, this is going to be a deal breaker. The con says the price is a tiny bit high, but not monstrously high, especially if you compare with offer from Goods My Company, which are just a tiny bit cheaper, but are full plastic, unpainted. What else? There are a couple of things that should have clicked into position, and really, this is really super nitpicking. I would have preferred ratchet joints, but the one that they have are pretty great. Articulated ends are great. Another couple of accessories, but I mean, I'm okay. Actually, this is an overall, I don't see many mistakes, and the one that I was putting, they're really there. Now, from the Pro, perfectly colored, articulation is great, transformation is fun, all the tiny vehicles are so cute, guys. I don't know how to describe them. They are really super cute. They kind of tickle a part of me that was that has been sleeping for quite a long time, and overall, a great display. Now, sorry, I forgot to mention one thing. Within the airplane mode, it's not great, the transformation, because it doesn't hide all the robot parts. So if you're used to Transformer, this is not gonna like blow your mind or anything like that. However, if you're used to Soul of Jokokin or this other side of robot, this is pretty great. So do I recommend it at the retail price? Yes. Holy yes, guys. However, I saw that this stuff has been sold out pretty much everywhere. You can still find a version at D4 Toys with the bigger sword, but then you will pay one leg and one arm for the shipment, because they're the only person in Hong Kong that pay $110 to ship to the US, which I found is a bit exaggerated. But don't ask at me. And Anyway, for the price to which it goes, to 30 to 70, if you're still able to get it, this is a great product. Not the best Sentinel that we've seen in the past year, just because Sentinel has been pushing off products that have been blowing my mind not every single time, because they did some pretty bad one, but this is for sure goes within the good list. Like, this is great. You will regret not having. Sorry, I don't want to push any FOMO onto you, but this is actually pretty good, and I saw it's already hard to get. But if you cannot get it, what are your other options? Where there are the SMP, which for sure they will make a fair Dagwon. Then there is Good Smile Company that is pretty focused onto the Brave, and those are different options for different spend capacity. So don't worry about it. I'm sure you'll be able to find this character also in this other line. And if you like this review, please like and subscribe and leave me a comment. Bye to everybody. Bye bye.